Now, I'm pretty excited about the number of smart home devices I have. What have I got? Doorbells, cameras, lights, door locks. I've got a lot of smart home devices. In fact, my Wi-Fi network has 72 devices connected at most times. But the big question is how protected and how safe am I? And I think what I wanted to do today with Tim Falinski from Trend Micro was talk about the risks that exist in the smart home, because sometimes we buy things not realising that the risks they might pose to our home network, let alone our own security. Thanks for joining me, mate.
Good to be here, Trevor.
What's the worry in the smart home? What devices are a concern for us from a security perspective?
All of them.
Oh, great.
And even more that you haven't mentioned. So, yeah, just be careful of everything. Right? Look, it's interesting behind it. It's not really the device that you have to be worried about. Is the fact that the device is connected to your router.
Right.
And what's happening with your home router? Well, your home router is passing through all your information. So, it's like each device is like an additional doorway into your home, right? So I can stick my head through the doorway and I can watch if you're in the other room, doing your banking, and all the other kind of bits and pieces. So, I might have a light globe and, innocuous, who cares, hack, bang. Okay, they've got the light globe.
The light's turning on and off, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, right? And all the other kind of bits and pieces. But if I can do that on your light globe, then I'm actually controlling it. I'm on your Wi-Fi. And if I'm on your Wi-Fi, do you do your online shopping on your Wi-Fi?
Right.
Do your banking on your Wi-Fi? What are the images that you're projecting from your security cameras to show when you're home or not? Your home security system, is that also on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
So therefore, I've got access to everything else. So the device itself, okay, if it's a watering system, I can turn the water on and cause yourself some damage.
Yeah.
But it's also that other part about the fact that I get to see everything. Because if I'm on one device, I can actually go around and touch them all.
And I guess... I do make an assumption here, but the problem is I see a lot of people there, they're finding just awesome deals on things that are not at your local retailer, right? They're buying stuff from China Direct, on AliExpress or whatever it's called. They're buying things that look like a great deal, but actually they may have the worst level of security and you don't know it. You just think it's working because the baby monitor's still working, the doorbell's still working, the lights are still turning on and off. Most of the time you probably won't know that the nefarious actor is actually lurking.
Yeah, and like the other part behind that as well is that when you first get it, it's probably fine.
Right.
But unlike a PC and a phone, like how often do you update your phone with the latest software? It's at least once or twice a month, right? Because they're generally finding security issues and holes in devices all the time.
Yeah.
Like at Trend Micro, we run a program called the 0 Day Initiative. And that's trying to find those level of defects that allow hackers to get inside.
Right.
And we run a competition every year and like give away over $1 million to hackers to actually
The good ones.
The good ones, the white hat hackers. Right? To actually go and identify holes that are out there. It's got to the point now that Tesla put up a car every year for the best security hole found on their Tesla car.
Right.
Because they want to one day get to autonomous driving. To do that, the worst case would be if someone hacks that and sends you off there. And it's trying to go and plug all those holes. So when you first get a device, it'll come with the latest version of its firmware or software out there. But, do you go and change your light globe's firmware? No, we do it on our phones. Our computers update.
Yep.
But all the other devices, be it a TV, be it a security camera and all the rest of it, we set and forget these devices as they age.
It's probably worse because we don't actually go back into the apps a lot of the time. Like let's say a light bulb. You set up a light bulb and then you probably pair it with an Alexa or a Google or some other smart speaker, and that's how you interact with it. You actually probably rarely even open the app, which is probably where there might be a notification about that firmware update. But we're certainly not actively chasing updates to our cameras and doorbells and lights.
And even if we get that update, we've then got to go and pull that device out, connect it to something to get the update, and then just go back and reinstall it. It's like your old smoke alarms where we actually have to get reminded to go and change the batteries every 6 months, because they do falter. You need to do maintenance on your smart devices just to make sure they're keeping up with the latest known threats that are out there. And, for a lot of these people, PCs and even mobile phones now more and more, they're becoming more aware that they need to upgrade security profiles all the time, right? To keep hacks and all of that away. But these smart devices, security is not their primary thought. They're about the
Yeah.
service. So, they're also built in a way that to make it easy and all the rest of it to plug and set and forget. But set and forget is not always good. Once again, it's not about the light globe. It's about what it then gives the cyber criminal access to.
And so 0 Day, your initiative, is basically constantly trying to find the issue before anyone else does and before we then become victim. The whole idea of 0 Day is to get ahead of it.
Yeah, so we collect these threats that are out there or these potential threats. We work then or spread that information directly to the company.
Yep.
So therefore they can actually plug it, send the update out, and then we inform market.
Right.
So therefore, before the market becomes aware of it, the company's already got the patch ready, and therefore just say, patch is ready, go and patch the system and go and do it behind there. And like as an example about the 0 days are identified in market at the moment, Trend Micro finds throughout its programs around 60% of all those threats. Wow. To give you an idea, Microsoft and Google, who are trying to ramp up in this area, are finding around 5% each of all the threats. Wow. So it's a very, very large commitment for us. We run an annual competition. A lot of guys know that they can come to us, white hackers, and sort of do that. And then we can go directly and talk to the companies on their behalf and say, hey, this has been identified. Find a plug, so therefore it can be announced and pushed to market.
We've talked a lot about the basic protections you might have on other devices, your phones, your computers. We've talked about identity. There's a bunch of things that you can do from Trend Micro, but what can I do to protect my smart home? Like that's the problem is, what are you telling me? I've just got to update all my apps continually and just keep checking? Or is there something I can do? There's
two ways to do it. Like at the end of the day, go around and do that. Set an alarm every 3 months, every 6 months. Go and plug all your holes that are out there, because there are literally websites in the dark web that will identify 1 million devices out there that have got this particular security flaw on it, and you can go and take it out. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is to actually realise that your home is like almost a little small business. So if you're in a business area, your boss, he would have antivirus running on your computer. You'd probably do that at home anyway. But he would also then, protect your network, protect your routers, and protect your cloud environment. And we have a device that you can actually go and protect your router. Because even then, if your light globe gets hacked, we can actually protect that from the attack going to any other device on your network.
Right.
And therefore warn you, you can turn it off remotely and just absolutely go and protect yourself to see what's happening that's going on. And therefore, if one device gets hacked, it doesn't spread across your entire network. And also the way that too many routers use the standard or admin password, right?
I was going to say that's one of the biggest issues, isn't it?
Yeah, change that one, like the default password, but it sort of adds that level of protection up front. Like it's a simple thing. We talk about the default password. The other thing is have a look at how far you're actually pumping your Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah, right.
Like if you can go and stand on your street and still be accessing your Wi-Fi, you may find that that's cool.
But I need it while I'm washing the car.
Yeah. Another 3 steps where you're physically out there, but if you can see it out there, guess what?
Yeah.
So can the cyber criminal who can just be sitting out there and hacking into your house.
Right.
So like we also say that all these range extenders and all the rest of it is just how far do you need to extend your Wi-Fi signal? Because if you can keep it contained down to the necessary areas of your house, it means people standing outside your house or in that street can't get access to it as well.
You mentioned a corporate network or even a small business where you might have an IT consultant that comes in and hooks up the routers and protection on all those things. I got to say, to most people, it probably sounds like a complex thing to install a box that helps monitor my network. So, like, how hard is this to set up?
Click and forget. Don't forget though. So we sell a box just at the moment. It's a single cable Ethernet cable that plugs in between your router and this box. Once it sets up, it'll go and do all the smarts, for you. You'll run it via an app on your mobile phone. And it'll take 10 to 15 minutes to go and identify everything on your network. And actually it will start pinging you and warning you.
Right.
If there's a security hole, if there's something else going on behind it.
So it's kind of sniffing the network constantly.
It's sniffing the network constantly. It will do a daily check for you, right? Yep. And once that's up and running, and the setup, it'll go and do it itself for 15 minutes. You may want to spend an hour, defining, getting the names of devices right. You can even build profiles that this is Billy's and this is, et cetera, behind the network and sort of see where it goes on. But the main thing about it is that once it's up and running, in the background, it will pull auto updates in, and the main thing is it's connected to our everyday cloud service, which is the same service that's running on our AV products and our identity products. So therefore, when a new threat becomes available, you are protected within 5 minutes globally, anywhere in the world. And, we use sensors everywhere from these home devices through to consumers who use our product, all the way right through our enterprise to governments and some places I can't talk about, right? So you're getting one of the widest sensor arrays in the marketplace. But the most important part is that single database in the back end protects everyone, whether you're the corporate down to that home user.
Yeah. I mean, it's a strange thing to even raise with people, because most people wouldn't even think of the smart home as being a risk to them, because it's a light bulb or it's a doorbell, right?
Yeah.
But then you think about what you do on your network. So that's what we need to think about, is what else we do at home, whether it's online shopping or banking, that you may be exposing to someone external to your home.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's just it's a little bit like identity protection as well. It's that I get a little bit of information here and then I go and fight for it over there, right? And what's it opening ourselves up to? And then, like, people are people really attacking my home? Last year alone, we blocked 1.7 billion threats on our home network devices.
Wow.
1.7 billion. This is not a small thing that occasionally people are getting attacked. We're seeing some people getting brute force attacks where they're just trying every way possible to log into that network. And this device will not only protect you, but also give you a warning on your phone that, hey, someone's actually doing a brute force on your house, right?
And that device is part of one of your security plans.
Yes, yeah. So that's part of our ultimate protection package, naturally. So therefore, we've got the AV protection, the identity protection, and then you can go for the full ultimate, which also includes that smart home. And as we're doing more things, and people are even working from home, it's just a really smart idea to actually have that included.
Because I think it's really important to note, especially if you're on the Trend site and you're looking at all the different tiers of coverage, if you think of it that way, you think this cost is slightly different to all the other ones. It's because there's a physical box that you get, and that's the protection for your network.
Yeah, and that's just the smarts to actually run the program through it and have it sitting on the router, so you don't have to, like, normally you got the protection running in your phone, so you don't want to naturally leave your phone at home all the time, so we put it inside that box there, and it actually connects into that router.
Yeah,
it's small, it's easy to set up. And then it's got some other smart things there. You can help monitor and see what your kids are doing.
Right. That's right. We can turn off YouTube at a tick of a box.
Well, yeah, you can turn off YouTube, or you can limit it to the non-adult YouTube. But it's also like, as your kids grow up and they become teenagers, like, it's got a feature that you can actually turn the internet off on the kids, so the kids are misbehaving. It's time for dinner. Hey, turn the internet off, come to dinner, and then I'll turn it back on. Or it's homework time between 6 and 7. But as your teenagers get older, you're going to see them start to look things up on the internet. Like, the old day where they would talk to people to find out what goes on and what these things mean in the world, they go to the internet. And we've got a feature that'll just give you the heads up when they get to that point, right? And you
don't need to stop them. You can just kind of find out about it, so it starts a conversation in the home.
We don't sort of recommend stopping them, because if you stop them, they'll find another way to go and look at it. But it just allows you as a parent to actually start to have that conversation going, hey, this is where we are. And it's just taking these old things about, like go back 50 years, you could keep your kid at home, ground them. They've got access. They'll go and use someone else's. Someone will give them their phone and they'll get around it. They'll find the information. So it's about just knowing and, being able to be part of that process with them.
Ultimate, that's where that sits.
That's our device
Ultimate comes with the home network security box.
Plus, it also gives you that AV protection,
everything in it,
and identity protection, which is incredibly important, getting more important every day. But that ultimate level, just especially in a house like yours, which has got so many connected devices, and it's just, if you're doing online banking, online shopping, and all the rest of it, it's just that level of protection that you need.
Tim says it's easy to set up, so one cable,
even,
one power
even
cord,
I can do it.
All right, no, it's good. It's good advice. It's a good reminder to people that the smart home may be exciting and interesting, but it's something you've got to stay on top of, as well as having great parental controls built in. Tim, good to chat.
Thank you very much, Trevor.